Hello everyone and welcome. This is Localization Addict. I'm Hagane and today we're going to be looking at the last part of my video series about the lyrics of the song Galo Sengen. So without further ado, let's get started. Gashi odoro would literally mean something like let's dance aggressively. But if we translate it to natural English, it would be something like let's dance like crazy. Battikoyo is an expression used to mean that the speaker is ready and willing to have anything come at them at any time. Nanka ichinichi sugee koiyo. This phrase would mean something like the day feels super flavorful. The reason why I say flavorful despite the absence of the word flavor in this sentence is because the word koi is a word that means deep, usually referring to colors and tastes. It could mean it was an intense day, and it could also mean that they had a good time with a lot of activities. If we translate these three verses, it would look something like this. The first one reads, going from hot guys to gyaruos that have an oni style. This onike or oni style is a type of fashion similar to that of the regular gyaruo, but that includes elements of night host fashion such as lots of jewelry. The second one reads, doesn't matter the genre, you can tell that you've encountered one by their smell. Here, they're making a rhyme out of the words oni and oini, the former meaning older brother, and the latter being the word nioi, which means smell, spelled backwards. This part means we almost never have a chance like this one. Geki yaba is an abbreviation of the phrase kageki ni yabai, in which kageki ni means in extreme or extremely so, and yabai is a word with multiple meanings, but in this case, it's used to describe a positive feeling. It can also be interpreted as an intensifier that is modifying the next word, something like the word very or a lot. Kawagyaru is a combination of the words kawaii, which means cute, and gyaru. Kimoota is a combination of the words kimoi, which roughly translates to disgusting, and otaku, which in this case, as everyone knows already, means nerd. Basically, the whole verse translates to from the super cute gyarus to the gross nerds. Let's break down the sentence first. Okke yorokonde means yes, gladly. Kimottama means courage. Essentially, this connects with the previous verse. It's encouraging everyone, from the cute gyarus to the gross nerds, to have the courage to say, okay, bring it on. You don't have a chance like this every day. Additionally, the de at the end is connecting this sentence to the next verse. Kono rappu means this rap. Hirotta kane means picked up money. Hora pon. Hora here is an interjection looking to catch the attention of the speaker. Something like the English hey. Pon is an onomatopoeia that implies picking up something from the floor. You might be wondering, how can an onomatopoeia describe an action like picking up something from the floor instead of a sound? Well, that relates to the fact that in Japanese there are two types of onomatopoeia, gitaigo and giongo. Giongo are the types of onomatopoeia that English speakers might be familiar with. Onomatopoeias that refer to sounds in the real world, accommodated to a specific language. An example of this would be woof in English for the onomatopoeia of a dog barking, which in Japanese it would translate to wan. And then the other type of onomatopoeia, or gitaigo, is an onomatopoeia that describes not a sound, but an action, which is supposed to be described by these onomatopoeia. This verse also connects directly with the last line. In Japanese, when you put to after an onomatopoeia, you become able to use it like an adverb. What I mean by this is that you can use this onomatopoeia to describe the following word. In this case, ポンと使えば if you use it in a poem way. This is one of the hardest things to wrap your head around as a non-native speaker learning Japanese, since onomatopoeias are very abstract in nature, especially gitaigo. However, in this case, we can get the feeling of using lightly or without caring too much. It reflects something you can easily pick off the ground, like a coin or something. So with all this context, the full phrase until now would be if you casually use it, which is then followed by the phrase kimochi ga ii, which means it feels good. So if we piece together all the pieces of the puzzle, it would be something like, this rap is like money you found on the street. Look, when you use it, you feel good. Here we see Gyaruo using ore and maji again. This whole verse then would be translated as, we are the best. No matter how old we become, we'll always be the best. This represents, in my opinion, an inner desire from Gyaruo to never change his ways. He wants to always feel good like he does in the exact moment he is singing this. And he wants to continue living his male Gyaru life without having to worry about adult responsibilities. This would mean invincible mode, the strongest legend, the type of person who gets uplifted after being complimented. I believe this part represents Gyaruo's inner insecurities. He sees himself as someone who is invincible, the strongest, yet he is dependent on the words of support from others. It could also represent the shallowness of some of the people in the Gyaru subculture. One stereotype prevalent amongst Gyarus is that they are extroverted and shallow, and that they're constantly looking for attention. And this part of the lyrics could be taking a jab at that, and also at Gyaruo's ego. Senta hasitte means running to the center. Kirei oneke is a combination of the abbreviation of kirei na one-san, which means a pretty woman, and kei. Kei is a word that basically means style. You have probably heard this word before if you know words like visual kei. Gangan apitte sokuban getto. Let's break this down. Gangan apitte is a really interesting phrase. Gangan is an onomatopoeia, a gitaigo like the one I explained earlier, that implies a state of being energetic or doing things vigorously. And apitte is the verb apiru in the te form. It is an abbreviation of the verbal phrase apiru suru, which comes from the English word appeal. However, as you probably have already guessed, this word is different in meaning from the English appeal. It essentially means to promote something, or, like in this case, to approach someone or something. Sokuban is an abbreviation of sokujini, which means immediately, and bango, which means number. This verse is alluding to Gyaruo approaching cute girls in the club, specifically Gyarus with an older sister aesthetic, and getting their number. Kyohi here refers to chakushin kyohi, which means rejected call. Manattari comes from this interesting phrase in Japanese, which is mana modo. It is composed of the English words manner and mode, but what it actually means is no disturb mode, or vibration only mode. Manaru then is this mana modo turned into a verb, like we saw with appeal. Basically, it would mean to mute someone. Wanko comes from the word wankoru, or one call, and it refers to the action of calling someone once and that call getting immediately rejected. Dotatte is the te form of the verb dotaru, which means to cancel plans at the last minute. The meaning of the whole sentence then would be, it doesn't matter if they reject my calls, ignore me, or cancel plans at the last moment. This verse, I believe, talks about the real loneliness inside of Gyaruo. It shows how, no matter how many times he approaches cute girls at the club, they all end up ghosting him or ignoring him or leaving. This is one of the things that haunts him and makes him more and more addicted to the Gyaruo lifestyle. In this part, Gyaruo is naming famous Japanese brands, while a female figure, presumably Gyaruo's mom, is seen uttering the words school, job hunting, marriage, retirement. This is clearly an attempt to contrast real life with him using the Gyaru lifestyle as a form of escapism. It is essentially what the video is all about. Gyaruo escaping the hellscape that is reality and daily life by indulging in the Gyaru lifestyle, always clubbing and always looking for pleasure. In this verse, I feel lies the real declaration of the male Gyaru, someone who escapes reality by engaging in hedonism, and by choosing a way of dressing, a way of being that is the complete opposite of what is considered proper or correct in traditional Japanese culture. In a way, it sounds like a cry of help. Gyaruo deeply desires to be happy, however he feels trapped by societal expectations. This is why he acts out by doing drugs and avoiding his responsibilities. He wants to enjoy his youth to the fullest without being tied down by his mother's and by society's expectations. With this concludes my analysis of Galo Sengen's lyrics. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video and would like me to make more videos like this, hit that like button and subscribe. See you next time!